What's up? Welcome to a new episode of Movie Schmovie. This is episode number 491. My name is Steve. I'm one of the co-hosts of the show. And as always, I'm joined by...
Nixon 5, biatch. Sorry.
It's okay. It's your time, man. Just take the mic and go.
Yeah. Sorry.
We all forgive you, but who are you?
Ronald.
Yeah, there he is.
Ron.
You'd be amazed by the amount of high-powered lawyers who choke on sausage chunks.
Facts, right?
And I'm John.
Yeah. Good to see you both.
Yes.
John, do you have a nice little trip?
Yeah, I don't know. It was nice. It was fun.
Okay.
We took, it was fun. It was nice. But when you're basically chaperoning a bunch of, it was a bunch of 18-year-old boys on senior week at the beach. So it was not like
bunch of 18-year-old boys.
Yes. So, you're there to make sure that they don't abuse the condo too much. Right. It really felt more like being resident advisor on a dorm than any other sort of role.
Okay.
But no, it was nice. It was we managed to claim some time for ourselves when it was okay, we're going to go to the beach. We're going to actually, we're not going to worry about the rest of it. But we had our dogs with us and stuff, so that was fun. Yeah, it was definitely fun. It's just that there's a totally different vibe to a beach trip when it's you're going with your kid to the beach. That's awesome. You go with your kid and a few friends, and they're 18, and they're intending to get out and get on the scene. You're just there. You're basically just. It really was taking some people, taking some scouts out. And being the scout master.
Love it.
Only there if needed. But yeah, it was good. And it was, we had some rainy days, but we had one really nice day. So that's all I really care about. I know sometimes you go to the beach, it's a bummer when you don't have a pretty day. But we had the kind of overcast days where you don't feel too bad kind of laying around and reading and stuff. And that's nice. And then it's also nice to have a real pretty day to get out and, enjoy everything. So it was good. How about you guys? Did you do anything special with your off week?
It's all a blur, man. I feel like every week's a blur now, man. Just busy with work and
crazy
family.
blur.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to see the movies I wanted to see over the past couple. I did see the one that I want to talk about later on the podcast, but we just watched a bunch of shows and took care of kids and worked, and just the rest of it's history. Just blurred together for me.
One blur after the other.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's the that's a Warner Brothers property, right?
Yeah. One blur after the other.
Well, we've got a few things we were going to talk about this week, one of which is our required viewing. We'll get to in a minute, and we'll get to the movie you saw, Steve, too. That's our big kind of marquee item, even though you're the only one who saw it. But for now, I thought, I mentioned before we started recording that we could do a little bit of a comic book report on the two big comic book universes, a little bit of DC and a little bit of Marvel.
Okay.
The little bit of DC side is that the Batman 2, the long-awaited sequel to The Batman, which has been kind of, a long development process, but I never really doubted that they intended to make it. I just think it's an interesting thing how much Matt Reeves seems to have really taken care writing this script. Everyone who's read the script says it's some really special thing. It's really hard to imagine what they're going to do with this. Everything I've heard thus far gives me no real clear idea of what the story is, even though there's a few kind of clear indications there. But the one thing I wanted to really talk about with you guys is just it's fascinating to me how little we know really at this point. Even though there's been a lot of casting, there's been rumors of who people are going to be playing, not necessarily hard facts. And I don't know, what do you guys think of that and the kind of shroud of First, the shroud of secrecy over, well, Matt Reeves is working on something. We're going to let him cook. We'll give him a couple of years to finish the script if he wants to, which is unusual. And then there is this casting process where, Sebastian Stan is in and he seems to be playing Harvey Dent. And then, wait, maybe he's not playing Harvey Dent. Maybe he's playing a different thing. But maybe that's a different Sebastian who's playing that character because there's another actor named Sebastian on this production. And, there's another actor signed now who might be playing Harvey Dent. So I don't know. What do you guys think of all that? And maybe just, what's your opinion of this cast they're slowly putting together for the Batman 2? Ronald, any thoughts?
I love it. I like that we don't know anything. I think I'll be just satisfied when we get like a teaser or something. I don't have to see anything crazy. Just like Batman being stoic somewhere on the top of a building.
You don't think he's going to
Um,
be jovial in this one?
nah, I
You
think
don't think
his
he's going to be
hair.
jocular?
I think his hair is gonna be just over his eye just a little bit more than it was in the first one. And he'll be super emo. Like I think that's what everybody's complaint about this Batman, and he's too emo. And then he just kind of sulks and lays all of his clues on the ground. Oh, Gotham.
See, I
Oh,
love
what's
that about
true?
him. I love
Me
our little,
too.
I love our little skinny emo
I
Batman.
like it,
This is
man.
it's amazing.
I like
Like
it.
it
Yeah,
worked. It
He's
worked.
it really did.
he's a
Well,
little ball of rage, man.
but
Like I
it's
like that.
but you know what? I've probably said this 20 times on the show, but like
Uh-huh.
I'll say it 20 and maybe 21, 22 times.
Mhm.
That what made that version work was that they for the first time I really felt like someone was playing the weirdness of Batman coming into a room like dressed in his getup like
Yes.
around a bunch of cops and stuff.
Yes, man.
I really feel like that movie, and then I think that's where the emo thing doesn't bug me, because they're not playing him as like, look at the cool emo guy. They're playing it as like, look at this kind of misfit guy who's like not the cool guy. Like, and you know, you could do the baby steps thing. Oh, he hasn't become that version of Bruce Wayne yet, but I don't even know that he ever has to become the polished playboy Bruce Wayne. This could be this could be the emo Batman, and I don't mind. It doesn't. But also, I think maybe you guys are plugged in too. A lot of people seem to still be in somewhat of denial about actors like Robert Pattinson. As far as like any of us who have been watching closely, we know that he's really good. So it's cool that he's doing this. It's not like, it's the guy from Twilight. It's like, no, the guy from 5 other memorable roles where he really did something cool. So. What about you, Steve? What do you think about the movie and maybe some of the casting too? I can't hear you. Can you hear him?
Oh yeah, it just dropped out.
All right.
Yeah, the casting is super exciting. I mean, the names that are involved are great. All people I'm always interested to see on the screen. But honestly, they could pick anybody for these roles. I'm in this movie. I feel like what he did with the Batman, and to your points, like the vibe around Bruce Wayne and Batman and his film with Robert Pattinson. I just think I think genuinely that I think it all worked so well for me that the casting, like who he cast, is a bonus to me, basically. It's like I'd buy it no matter who they chose, but the fact that they chose people that I'm very interested in is just like a great addition for me.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever they end up playing, again, I'm along for the ride. Like, I don't know, I kind of like the over reporting of everything. It kind of starts to weigh on me a bit because it just kind of gets annoying, or just it's like, I don't know. It's just like clickbait, and it could be very well. It's and some of it's very well real. They are maybe trying to hide stuff, and someone's finding this shit out and leaking it. Whatever. I'd rather not know, to be blunt, and I'd rather just know. Oh, he's got awesome people cast for a movie that I'm sure I'm gonna love. And it sucks it takes so long to make it because it's been a long time,
Yes.
and it's still a long time coming, and it's a long time to go. But I just think that I am excited to watch. Well, anything that Matt Reeves does, period, but especially in this world, what he is able to do with the Batman. And honestly, all the Batman stuff, like honestly, all the DC stuff is still very weird to me. That like Matt Reeves is just kind of like over here doing his thing with the Batman, which doesn't really so much feel like it's in concert with what's happening with Superman or even what you've seen of Supergirl, like what DC Studios is doing during their
Yeah.
rebrand.
Right.
And I
Right.
know they've kind of like delineated it in certain ways, and it's not really a part of, or it's not a part of some of this stuff, but that also could just be like, a lead just to kind of not make people think it is. I don't know. It's like, if it isn't, it's fine, and it's great that it can exist in its own little bubble. And I know you guys have spoken about how the comics kind of exist like that from their source, but it's just interesting to me that like so much time and care and focus is on this Batman franchise that he is overseeing, and then otherwise it feels like the DC Studios James Gunn thing, Peter Safran thing, it's kind of just kind of gestating a bit. Like it's like Superman came out and Supergirl comes out in a week or two, which is kind of crazy because I feel like there's no buzz for that movie,
Yeah.
very little buzz for that movie to me, and it feels a little more, minor, and it can be that. And I know they have Clayface, that's a part of that whole world, and some other things that are kind of happening, but like the Lantern show and whatever, but which looks cool. But the Batman just is like kind of an enigma because it can be its own thing, and they basically have said that it is in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But it's the thing I'm most interested in, because well, one because it's Batman, but then again, I said because it's the Matt Reeves Batman, which I've completely been sold on. So and everything
Well,
they do with the Penguin, like all that stuff is just so great.
well, I mean,
You know?
isn't it a testament to that movie
Yeah.
and maybe Matt Reeves that they are saying, like, I think James Gunn and Peter Safran are like smart about this and saying like, we want him to do this kind of
Right.
unique thing.
Right.
You're right. They don't seem like they're in any hurry to connect it to anything. But I also think James Gunn said he's not in a hurry to do another Batman. Like that they
Right,
want to do
exactly.
something. Clearly, they have an idea or a take that they've been kicking around. But as far as when that happens, I think James Gunn is content, or they're this new approach. They're content to grow the DC stuff out in a different way. And I think what we're going to see, I mean, I don't know. I know Supergirl is kind of tracking to not do so great, but I think word of mouth could be good. I think the fact that they're not spending as much on these movies, the fact that they're not expecting to make $1 billion on these movies. I mean, whatever people say about Superman last year, people like to talk about it like it didn't do as well as the Zack Snyder era movies did, but superhero movies were making 700 million, 800 million just for getting out of bed back then. So it's
Yeah.
like, and especially this, I mean, there was hype around that
So
stuff
true.
that just doesn't exist quite now. So I think the money that they made on Superman last year is like, that used to be considered a pretty successful movie. So I
For
think
sure.
that they're content to kind of grow something that might not need Batman so quickly. I do wonder if they're going to say, oh, now that we've got this going on, it makes more sense to connect to. I mean, people might really enjoy seeing that. I could also see Matt Reeves being like, no, I kind of want to have my little crime saga over here and not be in the sci-fi world of these other things or whatever. So I don't know. At this point,
Right.
it doesn't seem like they need to reveal it. And that's where what both of you guys are saying about how it's kind of fun not to know is like, yeah, it's fine to just find out when we find out. It's the kind of 24 hour
Yeah.
news cycle thing that makes us think that every little bit, and we've talked about this on the show, Ronald, for years and years with all these genre films and franchise films of like how it annoys us on a certain level that everything that gets known about them has to become a news item, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to say that I think the really funny thing about this is seeing everyone's so sure that Sebastian Stan was playing Harvey Dent, and now it seems like maybe Brian Tyree Henry is playing Harvey Dent,
Right.
which to me is a much more interesting casting for. I mean, it's more interesting to see Sebastian Stan do something else, and it's more interesting to see Brian Tyree Henry, like if they're gonna start developing that character, if he's Harvey Dent in this movie, but he gets to be Two-Face in another movie. That
Yeah.
sounds kind of fun to me because it's Brian Tyree Henry. I'll be honest
Sure.
with you though, before I was not interested in seeing another Harvey Dent story. They could do something great with it, but in my heart of hearts, I feel like that's a little bit like the Joker, where I'm like, okay, it'll be cool to see a new take, but it's also something where I feel like we've seen it. And I think what I want to see Matt Reeves do in his little world is like take on those things we haven't quite seen yet.
Right.
Who do you like better for Harvey Dent, Ronald? Brian Tyree Henry or Sebastian Stan?
I mean, we never got Billy D. Williams to be Two-Face.
No, right. That's the first thing I thought about today. Was like, then that was good casting. That was fun casting. You know.
Yeah, and I feel like Brian Tyree could do a Billy D. Williams impression, voice-wise. I don't want him to do it, but he could do an impression. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. We're in a space right now where the mayor of Gotham is a black woman. It would make sense if Harvey Dent
Yeah.
was because of the connection to wanting to make the city better,
Yeah.
and also the parallels to like what he wanted to aspire to. So it makes sense. Like I'm not against it. I'm not against it, and I hope nobody gets like, oh, it's a woke cast. I don't want to hear any of that.
Well, I mean, it's get over it. It's like it's
Yeah, yeah,
interesting
yeah.
casting. It's cool
It's
casting. He's
interesting.
he's
Yes.
fantastic. It reminds me of him in what was the movie where he was like the local politician that
Um,
had like
was it
the
Widows?
was that Widows? Yeah, must have been.
I feel like it was Widows. Maybe
Where he was what?
he's a local politician.
Yeah, like an
I don't
like an
remember.
up and coming, like a guy who was kind of compromising to succeed in
Yeah,
politics.
it was Brian Tyree in Widows, I believe. I believe that was his role in Widows. I could be wrong, but I think it was him.
Yeah. Well, he's great, and I look forward to seeing whatever he's doing. But it's also cool that we don't know. And I agree with you guys. I'm fine not knowing, but
Right.
I am more excited. And the idea of who Sebastian Stan might be playing now. There's some people that say he might be playing Victor Zsasz, who's like a creepy serial killer type villain who has a little bit of I think his backstory has some involvement with Penguin. And the other bit of news they've released is that Penguin's supposedly only in 2 scenes of this movie. Now, some of
Oh.
that is sounding like Colin Farrell does not like the 9 hours of makeup and wants to do it as little as possible. And he has even said that, like, oh, that's cool, that's great. It means I can enjoy this movie. I can enjoy the rest of this movie. But also, it would be sort of weird after that show to not do something with him. So
Right.
my hope would be the Penguin, if he is in a very small part of the movie, is that he's like growing in power or amassing power, not that he's like, they throw sometimes like a knucklehead villain into the first third of a movie. I hope that's not his role, is to just get
Yeah.
knocked around the same way he did in the last one. But
Like the way that Scarecrow showed up in
Right.
the other Bat, like
I
the
remember
second
him,
Bat,
yeah.
he's just like a weird rogue that didn't
Yeah.
really do much. I'm like, he was a major villain in the first one. What am I missing about this one?
Well, the only thing I like about that makes me get, because I kind of agree with you. It's like it's weird that he became like a chuckle fuck after being like a guy who nearly destroyed Gotham.
Yeah.
But that's like the most fun thing that that Nolan did. Do you know what I mean in terms of like world building, is to bring that
Yeah.
one character back? So I'll take it.
That was funny because they had all those fake Batmans.
Yeah.
And the ones with the shotgun. It's like, this is a fucking Batman. Yeah, I thought that scene was really cool.
Well, just the idea that he's like kicking around reminds me more of like the way the MCU treats recurring characters of
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
we're gonna remind you someone's still around and we're gonna give them a scene or two. But this reminds me of the other comic book thing on the other side of the comic pond. The Spider-Man trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day came out. I guess this might be the final trailer. This is a bit more of a story trailer. It's also just kind of a different trailer. Like sometimes they do that. They put out a trailer that just showcases different things than the other trailer.
Yeah.
But one of the things that made me think about this when you were just saying this is like this not knowing thing. We really don't know. There's certain things we don't know about this movie either, this close to it coming out. And it feels like it's cool to keep some of these things under wraps. One thing is, and I don't know where you guys stand on this, a lot of people seem just reasonably sure that Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. What do you think of that? Do you think it seems that supportable? Do you think they would introduce the new X-Men in a Sony, a movie that Sony half owns? I don't know. Like I wonder if people are a little too confident in that idea that she's Jean Grey, but it sure seems like it would make sense because so much of what they're doing with Peter in this, at least from the trailer, seems like it has to do with him kind of mutating. And so the idea of bringing in mutants are
Right.
starting to hint at that part of the MCU. We know that's where they're going soon. What do you guys think of that? Do you think, have you been following this? There's like people that really have a lot. They've been like looking at like the toys that have been announced, and she has like pink energy around her on her toys. And that, Jean Grey's powers were always represented as like pink energy flowing out of her. She's got red hair. So obviously they couldn't dye her
gotta
hair
be
and
her.
have her
It's gotta
playing.
be her.
What do you think, Ronald, about this? Have you been following any of this, and do you have any opinion about who Sadie
Yeah.
Sink is?
For all the people that do that, do some fucking push-ups, man.
Do some fucking
What if they do a bunch
push-ups.
of push-ups and then they hop online and they
Some
still?
fucking push-ups, you assholes. Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, just let it happen. Like, why don't we wait? It's about to come out in 2 seconds.
Right.
We've seen all the popcorn buckets. Shut up. Just wait. Just wait, you dick faces. Just wait for 2 seconds and let us enjoy it, and we'll see what happens.
But do you think the mystery can bite them on the ass if people get into the theater and it's not the thing they've made in their minds? I guess that's kind of the question that looms larger for me. Is like, is this a weird way of a movie? Like, is it smart of them to, like we were just saying, it's cool to have a little mystery. But do you think it ever seems like, well, go ahead and just let people know so that they won't be, disappointed? Or do you think they're letting people wait because they know it's what people expect? I don't know. I don't really care, because it's like like I said, it seems like an interesting way to bring her in, but it also seems like a bit of an odd place to bring her in.
I think the reason why people like this about this Spider-Man is this one seems to be doing the heaviest lifting in terms of promotion. Like I don't. This is the first time that I saw the trailer. I mean, this is the one trailer that I saw. I was like, okay, I'm a little more clear about what the plot of this is, and I still don't know what this movie is about completely. Right?
Like, who's really the villain in this?
Yeah, it's. I can't tell if it's because the script doesn't feel like it's completed. Because typically trailers will tell you everything you want to know. Like, it's like almost tell you too much.
MCU trailers like to play fast and loose. Like, they occasionally have one of these where they do like to not have you knowing exactly who the villain's going to be when you go into the theater. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've done that to us a few times where it's like, well, who's the main, like, what's the main thrust of this? I think they've tried to make us think Scorpion's going to be big in the movie, but I bet he doesn't have a lot to do. I bet that's like one fight scene or something.
Yeah, that seems like a misdirect.
But and then Keith David's voice, I'm pretty sure it was in the first trailer, but wasn't in this one. And some people think he might be playing a character called the Jackal. And if he's the main villain, where do we have room for Jean Grey? And why is she there? I don't know. But I know what you're saying, Ronald. It feels like they're letting this feel like, it's like when Civil War came out and they let it be like, oh, it's a Captain America movie, but it's actually like an MCU movie, And this feels like they're putting a lot into this Spider-Man movie as making it feel like this is the next chapter. And, we've talked about it. People are looking for that, we're chasing that thrill. Yeah. We want the MCU to give us some of those old feelings again, and this feels like it could do it. Like the Hulk, they've revealed, we knew that was coming, but they revealed that not only are we getting Hulk, but we're not getting smart Hulk. We're getting, Savage Hulk, as they say. So that's something. But I think some people think that means he's going to be the villain, and I think they've learned from the last Captain America movie that you don't put the Hulk in the trailer and then have that be the big climax of the movie. I don't care what color your Hulk is.
You don't care if he's black or white.
You see, Ronald, I don't see Hulk colors.
We saw a red Hulk. Look, I don't care about the color.
Oh, I didn't notice he was red. I look in the inside of the Hulk.
I didn't even notice.
I didn't even notice that. But Steve, what do you think of this final trailer, and what are you, how are you feeling about this movie? You looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see it. Honestly, I feel like the two trailers really don't. I mean, they both are effective trailers. Like I like both trailers, but I really don't feel like. I guess, and maybe to your point, you feel like you understand what's happening in the movie more, really, as it pertains to Peter. Like, oh, he's mutating and he can't control something, and what's going to happen. But like the story is very vague. Like you don't know what the movie's about. Like they're throwing all these cool fight sequences, cool visuals. You see the Punisher, you see Hulk, you see all these things that you recognize. But I think the best thing was for us to see something when we see the movie that we don't recognize, and I hope that is still there. I hope that's still available beyond what everything they've shown. And I have no doubt that it will be, because this is a massive and massively important movie for, Sony, Marvel, everything. So, I think that the reality of what they decide to show in the trailer, and it seems that they've thought so much about, and there's all this reporting about like how involved Tom Holland was in, rewriting the script, or having someone rewrite the script because of what he thought people wanted to see, and all this. Like, part of that, again, like, come on, like, cool, Tom Holland. Like, I'm glad you really care, and it's good that you care. But like that framing sounds kind of weird. Like,
You know what it
it kind of
reminds me
shits
of?
on movies that you were in and made you, millions and millions of dollars
Right,
I mean,
right.
I
because you've
love
been in a Christopher Nolan movie now.
I
You
love
know,
Curry Barker, but he said something funny this week when they were talking to him about the success of his movie in Backrooms. He said it just shows that Gen Z will be excited that they'll come out to the theater and see movies if the movies are good. And I was thinking, like, yeah, no shit, that's not just Gen Z, that's everybody.
yeah,
Like,
that's what happens,
right
bro.
now, the studios are trying to figure out like what anybody will come see
Right,
in the
right.
theaters, you know. So,
Right.
so it is a little funny for him to. It's always funny when someone does that when they seem to be shitting on what they've done. But I took that too to mean like he's worked on a Christopher Nolan movie now, and he's just
Yes.
got this attitude of like, I don't want to make a movie that people can say didn't need to be made or was inconsequential.
Sure.
So like on the face of it, there's a positive side of that makes me think, oh, cool. That might mean they took a little extra time
Sure.
to make sure this one has real emotional arcs or something, you know.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But it doesn't look that different from the other Spider-Man movies, really. It just looks like a slightly more, like the character feels like he might be going through something a little darker, but it feels like, I mean, part of the reason why the trailers have got me hooked is because it's given me that little dose of something I felt long ago and
Sure.
really enjoyed, which was this excitement about a Marvel movie. So, but yeah, I think it looks good, and I think that the not knowing is part of the fun of like I'm hoping that they don't just keep revealing more and more until I feel like, okay, now there's no surprises, because the plot, the fun of the plot is part of seeing these movies. You know,
Yes.
there's no question.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I'm in for this film. I just really want to see what the movie's about and the story. And because I mean, I think that's my fear, is that like the way they're talking about some of the stuff, if it does just feel like, and not to a negative sense, like the other Spider-Man movies that he's done. Like, why present it in the way that they're trying to present this? Like, yeah, John Watts is not back. Doesn't what's his name? Destin Daniel Creighton, like, and is doing this movie for reasons. And it looks like there are reasons on the screen. Like, the fight stuff looks way better in this movie to me, even from the trailer. And even what they've shot practically, and some things, like set pieces, one set. Like, I love that. And that long lead stuff they did when they were shooting overseas, and like, all those photos and videos came out of him on the streets shooting as Spider-Man. Like, that is awesome stuff. Like, that stuff did way more for me than hearing about him calling from the Nolan set saying, I want to rewrite this. Like, that just sounds kind of like, eh.
No, I know what you're saying.
You're playing Spider-Man. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, but I know what you're saying, but I also think you can have that attitude. Like, the reason why these movies have occasionally been great is because somebody tried to put some level of soulfulness into them, and not just have them be something that sits on the calendar. But it's like I'm wondering, like, who was he talking to like that? And
Right,
was
right.
it Kevin Feige? Was it the director of the movie he's about to be in?
Yeah, was it John Watts? Like,
Yeah.
it sounds like it's like, you're a star because of these movies. And and I've liked all the Spider-Man movies, and maybe this will be the best one, and everything you're talking about, I'll be like, okay, good. I mean, there it is. It's the best one you've done. Like, but if it's not, it's like, what are you talking about?
Well,
Yeah,
it reminds me of one time Elvis Costello in his album reissues. He got to one of the albums that he kind of famously didn't like, but a lot of people did like. It's an album called Goodbye Cruel World.
Okay.
It's got like dated production on it or whatever, but it's still a good album. But in the liner notes to when it was reissued, he wrote, "Congratulations, you've just bought Elvis Costello and the Attractions' worst album."
Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
But it was like, it's that thing of like, well, what if people like the thing that you're saying
Right.
was
That you're
subpar? Like, well,
yeah.
let people enjoy it. But at the same time, it's, again, like I said, I like the ambition of doing that. But I know what you're saying. It's like,
Right.
just make a good movie. Don't like the hype about this feels like it's almost like trying to get ahead of something
Yes.
Exactly.
or
I don't
create
want
some
that.
lore. Yeah.
I don't want that. But it feels like that's what's happening.
He's pulling a Chalamet.
He really is.
Look,
Dude, he really is.
I like New York Nick version Chalamet, but Chalamet in general is crazy. It's a crazy follow. Like, it's like if you like this guy as an actor, outside of the movies, he's a strange follow, man. It's like you forget that he's just a kid. It's like he's just a kid that has fame, and did you see him like throw his shirt off and jump into the crowd of the Knicks?
Yeah.
He's so funny, man. He's a silly man. Very silly man.
Well, I guess that's all of our news, and unless anybody else has any trailers or anything like that they wanted to mention.
Nah, I think I'm good. Ronald, you want to take us into your required viewing pick?
Yes. Let me just make sure that I get the name right. I don't want to mess it up. Hello. We often talk about the Roman genre of play referred to as the Romicus Comicus, and one of the ones that is, taken shape and the evolution of the Romicus Comicus is a Netflix original called Office Romance, starring Jennifer Lopez and I always forget his name.
Brett Goldstein.
Brett Goldstein. Brett had a
Roy
big
Kent.
hand in Roy Kent.
Roy Kent.
And
Roy Kent.
it had a very big role in writing this script. In fact, he shaped this script around Jennifer Lopez for some reason. But also, I kind of get it. Once I watch it, I'm like, I kind of get it. Yeah, so this rom-com is about a CEO of a airline and her legal team, and Brett's character's brought in.
What's his name? What's his character's name? It's like Blanche Flower or something like that.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's
Daniel
Blanchflower.
Yeah, Daniel Blanchflower, who is on the legal team, and upon an accident with his boss, he kind of becomes the main source of legal advice, and they start to fall in love through a boner, through a very comical boner. But yeah, this is one of those ones that kind of sat in my head for some reason. It's like I don't know if they make movies like this anymore. That used to come. I feel like movies like this used to come to the theater. They used to garner a lot of attention, and like this would have been back, I'd say 10 years ago. It would be Matthew McConaughey. Well, let's say right before the McCognizance, right? Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Lopez in this movie. And he would have been a very cool man in this. But Brett brings this interesting energy to the table. This kind of wholesome. I don't know, man. He's good, and I think I want to see him in more stuff. And Jennifer Lopez is serviceable, man. Like she's always likable and stuff. Like I don't ever watch a movie and say I dislike her in this movie. You may not love her acting, but I enjoyed her character, man. The history of the airline and her father being a very demanding person that put a lot on her. Yeah, I thought it was a cool movie. Had some fun dynamics. Would I suggest it to somebody that wanted to see a rom-com? Sure. Would I watch this thing again? I don't know. Why are you asking me these questions? We want to start a fight?
Like, I don't know. Should I?
You want to start a fight?
You're the one asking yourself these tough questions. Right?
Yeah, why are you coming so hard at me?
Why you come so hard at me? Who is me? I don't know, man. I thought it was a solid movie for real. I really enjoyed it.
What do you think, John?
I don't watch a lot of Romicus Comicuses. Earlier you said we talk a lot about them. I don't think we do, actually. I think that we've been on a bit of a run lately. You've been picking them.
I've been forcing you guys to
you've been forcing me to watch them. But I like rom-coms. I mean, I like a good rom-com. We were having that discussion, my family, we were sitting around talking about how it's like certain genres you're just a sucker for, and there's a formula to them. But I feel like for me, I like a rom-com. I like a good romantic plot, but I think genre-wise, I don't watch a lot of them, and every time I watch one of the kind of middling, and I like by this one I mean middling, like not bad, not a classic of the genre, right in the middle. When I watch one like this, I'm like, yeah, I kind of see why I don't watch them that often, because I do often think they're trying to do too much, and like the coasting by you actually nailed it, Ronald. It's like there's like a charm of the actors that kind of makes you finish watching a movie like this. Like, you just watch it and you're like, oh, I like Brett Goldstein. Oh, I like J-Lo. And yeah, maybe is she a good, or I feel like she's a pretty good actress, but she's more somebody who brings like a presence to the screen, so you can watch her.
Right.
In this movie, I thought it was funny that she's written to be like a really hard ass boss.
Yeah,
but she's really not playing a hard ass character. Like, she's really of the nicest hard ass that you've ever seen. But I mean, like, and there's a little bit, it's one of those things, it reminds me of when like a hot person goes on SNL and like half of the sketches are about how hot they are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a little bit of that with this movie, but I thought it was kind of funny that they played it like Brett Goldstein instantly falls all over himself when he meets her, and then the boners. I mean, like, that's silly, and it's like, oh, I wrote in my notes, it's one of those raunchy rom-coms. It's like some rom-coms have the boners in them, and the close-up shots of a woman when she's giving birth and she's crowning, like things like that are here to make you feel like you're watching like this kind of gritty comedy, but you're really not. I mean, outside of those few elements, this is a very, like, almost like a movie from the 40s or something like that, in the sense that she's running an airline, and he's a lawyer for the airline, and like their business relationship is such a big part of it. It's at a certain point I thought it was doing a little too much for any of the stakes to work. Like the stuff with her father, the stuff with his sister, the stuff with the company, the stuff with like the ethics of what they're doing. It felt like none of that quite gelled, but yeah, you're watching this going, I can watch these actors. Every now and then Betty Gilpin does something really funny. She's funny in this movie.
Love her.
So I don't know, like, and the cast, it's stacked with like funny comic actors. Like even in the opening scene, they're on there's a fake out date they each have where they're on a date where it's clearly not working out. And like, he's on a date with, what's her name? Lisa Gilroy, who's a comic who, if you know the improv stuff she does, she's really good at that, but she's been popping up in a lot of bit parts like this. And then Will Sasso is the guy that she's on a not date with. So it's like, I knew from the start, oh, okay, this movie's going to have some like funny characters around the edges. And again, I think that's probably a thing a lot of the sort of studio rom-coms do, is have a couple of big leads, and then around them you try to find like who's that new talent, who's that new face that's going to deliver some lines and be funny. And I think this movie, it does an okay job of that. I saw on Rotten Tomatoes that it has 48%. I saw this right before watching it, and I remember saying, what did Ronald do to me? I think 48% it's one of those deceptive times where 48% means half the people liked it, half the people didn't. Not that the movie is a 48%. You know what I mean? The movie does not have an F, but it is a movie that it's like you could almost go binary with it. Are you in the mood for a Romicus Comicus? Yes. Do you want to watch something that's twice as good as a Hallmark film but still not that great? Yes.
You're nailing it here.
Yeah.
Like, this is exactly it.
And I want to say too that J-Lo, she I think it's crazy that the world went mad for the fact that she has a giant ass when she has a perfectly normal sized ass.
yeah.
But I wonder, did she presage the era of people being more ass aware? I don't know. That's a topic for someone's dissertation, I think. But she does have a very strange line about her ass in this film. They're on the beach, and she says, I've got so much sand in my butt. If you turned me over, you could tell the time. Implying that she would be like an hourglass, I guess, but it's still a very strange thing to say. Anyway,
that's wild, man.
I feel like
boners and butts. This movie's got boners and butts in it.
I mean, as most do. Most Romicus Comicus do. No, this was fine. I mean, I think your comment about like twice as good as a Hallmark movie, but not to the level of like a classic or even a very good one. But again, it's the people, like the cast around them is fun to watch, and I think the chemistry is pretty good. Not great, but enough there to kind of keep you in. But I mean, that thing is like it's a little too bloated, like too many things going on, like to John's point. But in the end, like I think I don't want to say the bar's set low for rom-coms, but you don't see them enough anymore that I think what people think of when they think of them now is the Hallmark movies, or
Yeah.
these like kind of sub qualities, but still people find an audience and they find them entertaining. I think it is those movies that it's talking about. And I think that so when you see something like this, which is kind of really in the middle of those and like really good rom-coms that we talk about,
Yeah.
it's like you just kind of like it was fine. Like even the other one, the what's the other one you had? The Haley Bailey one. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's like
Me, You, and Tuscany.
yeah, even that one, like it kind of sits in that
Or
same space where it's
You,
yeah,
like,
Me, and
yeah, yeah,
Tuscany?
yeah. You,
Whichever
me,
one.
and Tuscany. Yeah.
And then
you
we
know,
watched the one with
excuse me.
I don't know if it was picked for this feature, but I think it was a long time ago. We watched the one with Charlie Day and Jennifer. What's her name? From The Obvious Child. I love
Jenny
her.
Slate.
Yeah, Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate and Charlie Day, whatever
Oh
that one
yeah,
was
what was
called.
that one? You're right. Yeah, we did have that on here.
And then I think one of the best examples for that for us is Rye Lane, which is to me a
Right.
terrific
That's yeah.
example of the
Yeah.
genre. But one of the
I Want
one of
You
the things,
Back.
yeah, well, I want you back, Steve. You just kind of made me think of something too. I wanted to mention too. We watch a lot of horror films. For this, and when you watch a horror film that's like direct to streaming, you kind of relax and you say to yourself, I want to watch a horror film tonight. And so you look for the good in it.
Yes.
I think that's kind of what I'm saying about rom-coms, is that if you like the genre, then you're going to be like, I'm going to see what they add to this one. Maybe it only needs one good scene. Maybe it only needs one good character. Or, it's true. It's like maybe all you need is the vibe or the thing. And I think rom-coms are like that like, if you like the genre, like if you don't like the genre, all you can do is sit there and pick apart the formula of it, and someone
Sure.
who likes the genre would say, no, this is actually a pretty good one. It's original in this way or that way. And I think I give this movie credit for trying to really lean on the comicus, and give us some good, funny characters. So I think that's something that I appreciate. And I think that might be the Brett Goldstein touch, And I wonder if how many of those cool comic actors in this, I wonder how much of that has to do with his, being a comic, and just having a lot of the relationships he has. So, did you watch the ending credits?
No.
No.
Okay, it had a whole thing in the ending credits which answered a question I had, because Scott Seiss, a local comic from the Baltimore area who's in this film, he posted when they were publicizing this movie, I play a dang ass freak in this movie or something like that. And I was like watching the movie going, oh, they must have cut all of his scenes. But no, the end credits have a bunch of different people. After the end of the movie, everybody's coming to Tony Hale's office to declare their whatever, their weirdness, their kink, their fetish. And his character has to declare a lot of different things he's done around the office with different people. And in the end, you can see that Scott Seiss indeed plays a dang ass freak in this film. So I really was watching it going, oh, he must have posted that not knowing that they cut his running gag out or something. But no, it's all in the end credits. And it's basically just Tony Hale like wanting to die as everybody comes to him and tells him like all the stuff they're doing.
That's funny.
What else? Anything else from this one? I don't think so.
Steve?
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking it's funny you dropped the name of one of our favorite Romicus Comicuses of recent decade probably. And by chance the movie I chose tonight stars our boy, David Johnson.
Ooh.
It's a movie that I again, one of those things, end of the year, early 26, like I kept hearing tons about it. Came out in April, I think, in theaters finally. But this is a movie called Wasteman with David Johnson and Tom Blythe.
Which is a real insult. The term waste man is an insult. The reason I know this is because there's a local content maker that has
Okay.
a little kid named Zane. He's British,
Okay.
and his son said, "Okay, waste man," and he's like, "Why you call me waste man?"
Oh,
He's like
wow.
he was like about to get into a fight with his little kid, his little son, because his son learned the term waste man by watching something British that his father was
Something
into.
British.
Yeah, waste man apparently is like, a jerk, a
Yeah.
pushover.
A
Yeah,
useless, lazy, worthless
yeah,
person.
I mean, I
yeah.
can see
Wait,
that. That
hey,
yeah, it
calm down, waste
tracks.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't
Didn't
want
know
your
that. That's
kid
good to
calling you
know.
that.
yeah. You don't want your kid be like, hey, get out my face, waste man.
He could be like, "I'm talking about your waistline. You've been eating too many Twinkies."
But this is like a crime prison drama,
Mm, mm, mm.
where two like a prisoner who's I guess coming up for parole. Somebody and there's a new cellmate that comes in and kind of they get involved with one another, and I think it kind of pulls them into like a bad direction that kind of jeopardizes or is going to possibly jeopardize him getting out. And David Johnson plays that character. Tom Blythe plays the new cellmate, but I'd heard great things about it. I know it got nominated for some BAFTAs, or a BAFTA. I can't remember. Maybe it was multiple, but it's got great reviews. And again, we mentioned Rye Lane. A lot of I think David's son. He's a great actor. I love seeing him on the screen. So yeah, this is one I just kept hearing people talk about. Like I always mention it when we talk this session. It's like I always take notes of the ones that like the people I follow on social media or critics that I like these are the ones nobody knows about that I loved. And I like a dozen people mentioned this movie. Like I'm not exaggerating. A lot of people I
Oh
follow on
wow.
social media were mentioning this movie when it was in theaters to try to help it because like it got like a really small release in April, but it's out now. I think it's like $4 on Prime Video, or it looks like it's $3.99 to rent. Um, but yeah, that'll be our pick for next week. It's called Waste Man.
Waste man. Well, Steve, you've been to see a big
A
movie.
movie.
We can now. Well, Steve, you've been to see what we call a movie.
There you go.
But yeah, you went to see Disclosure Day, and Ronald and I failed to do that. We tried, we wanted to. We had a lot of extra time. We even bought ourselves an extra day before we recorded this episode, but we could not do it. It's almost like there are government forces that are stopping us from learning this information that's contained in this film. But Steve, obviously this was a big one for us because we're Spielberg heads on this show.
Yes.
We understand the critiques, but we also I saw someone that said he's made a shockingly low amount of masterpieces for someone who is considered so highly. And I was
Where
just
does that
like,
person live?
but I was like, if you're just admitting he's made multiple masterpieces, it's like you should,
Right.
you should what, Ronald?
Right.
You should do some push-ups.
Yeah, just a push up. Take it easy, waste man. Are you serious, waste man?
But yeah, but I mean, we're Spielberg heads. This is a return to genre. This is a movie that looks like it's got some propulsive action in it. Everything I'm hearing about it is that it kind of hits the ground running. I have heard a lot of criticisms of it, and I still think I'm excited to see it on the big screen. I will not be waiting. I will probably see it tomorrow, and then I'll just wish I had seen it in time for this conversation. But maybe you can talk about it. I don't know if you're our resident Spielberg head more so than me or Ronald, but I do think you might have a special love for him. So yeah, talk a little bit about
You
how
got an intense passion for him. You got an intense passion for him. I noticed this.
Talk about how it stacks up for you, Steve, and just in general. You I think you were talking about how you and your wife have been talking about like sci-fi that leans on actual science.
Yeah, and also just like current events, like current things that happen, like documents coming out about UAPs and things like that.
Okay.
So I mean, I think that's a part of what, we've been talking about a lot or post seeing the film, we were talking about it. And Aaron was kind of like discussing that point of it, which is like, these films that are sci-fi films, but there's science around what the story of the film is, and that is very real, and like kind of how those are viewed versus maybe like true sci-fi that exists in things that we just simply don't know or can't prove or can't base in fact. But I don't know, like I think it's also one of the things that most excited me about seeing this was that like it's he doesn't make many modern movies anymore. Like present day films. If you think about honestly, the last I don't know, maybe War of the Worlds was the last one. Which is again a sci-fi alien movie. But to see one from who I feel is the best, filmmaker I've ever seen. His films are some of my favorite films. He's definitely my favorite director of all time. But I don't ever like. I can't hear about what Steven Spielberg doing without being excited, whether it's a West Side Story remake or a Fableman's, about his own growing up, or if it's another Indiana Jones. Like, it's just all excitement for me because I'm just like very appreciative that he's still making movies and that he's making a movie now and about a topic that I find very interesting and that I've based a lot of my like just pop culture consumption around aliens. Like I just very much believe in that stuff and very much think that that's real and that, it's only a matter of time until we either find out or learn more or it's, basically what this movie's attempting to do. So I mean that going into it, that's just the excitement level that I have. I love the cast, the trailers were great. I love the idea of, him working with David Koepp again, and I think that some of the criticism is maybe around some of the script, the screenplay concerns like that I think are valid. But I think in general, I don't want to spoil anything, so maybe we'll tag this as one of my quick writs. But I think that I just really want to say that I love the movie. Like I really enjoyed it. I feel like it feels very much in line with what he has done in films that he's made that have to do with extraterrestrial life in different ways, whether it's dealing with hope or anger or just the gamut of human emotions that he's really kind of explored in movies like E.T. or Close Encounters or War of the Worlds. But in this one, it's really more about, and again, it's like all over the movie, but this idea of empathy that is really the motivation for what the characters that are propelling the story and the action in the film are doing and why they're doing it is all about empathy. Is the idea that if you think that aliens are real and they're trying to maybe possibly disclose that they are, that what made them open their eyes was an understanding of what empathy is for something that is not us, that we don't understand, that we don't know about, but that it's still deserved, basically. And as the movie kind of rolls that idea out and you slowly start to learn more about what they know and why they're doing what they're doing. And each character kind of has different moments that you kind of discover that with, like Josh O'Connor or Coleman Domingo or even Emily Blunt's characters specifically.
3 terrible actors.
Yeah, like you had to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
I mean,
to
oh my
cast
God,
this film,
I bet there's
right?
no chemistry whatsoever in
zero.
that cast.
Yeah, no, they're outstanding. They're outstanding. But it's not a movie without flaws. There's definitely a couple points, where it's a couple things are off or feel a little odd, or even how certain ideas are being kind of drilled in. Maybe don't work as well in 2026, maybe as they worked
Steve,
in other Spielberg films.
Let me ask a question then, because you seem to be getting at this, but I just want to make sure we cover this. A lot of the criticism I've seen, even from people who've liked the movie, has been that it feels like it should have come out in the 90s or something. That or it should have come out 20 years ago or something, based on its understanding of and again, I don't really know what this manifests as in the movie, but they basically are saying that Steven Spielberg's got a naive idea about like technology and how media and social media, how that works and how people would respond to something, that the movie kind of loses some people. I think that verisimilitude, whatever that groundedness, it seems like some people are feeling like, oh, the movie lost me when I realized that it had a naive sense of some of these things, that they feel that the movie is not as cynical maybe as it should be for our modern age or something. And I mean, I can see that argument. Yes. I could see the argument of, well, Steven Spielberg's not going to make that cynical movie. But I can also see how, like, well, we live in a highly analytical, cynical time. Do you not need to... I mean, like, isn't the most successful version of this movie one that grapples with how people feel about these things now, even if
Right.
he's trying to make an optimistic movie. Which again, I'm saying all this knowing nothing. So yeah, talk a little bit about that,
I think that's a
please.
valid. Yeah, I think that's real. I think that's maybe even right. I mean, I don't think that I thought about it maybe at all watching the movie.
Hmm.
Like in the movie, in the story, I don't think that that really so much crossed my mind, but maybe once. Um, but I think that that concern is maybe real, but I think it's also like it's still a movie. It's a movie. How to say this? It's a movie being presented in a way that Steven Spielberg maybe would hope that the world could react in this form to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a part of the motivation of, and even listening to him recently, he's been doing tons of press for this, which he doesn't always do, and being very transparent about a lot of the motivation. And I mean, this is a story by Steven Spielberg, which we haven't seen in a while.
Right.
This started with him, and I think it really is an example of how he views what society could be. Whether or not it is what it is right now, it's what it could be. You know, there definitely are people in the movie that are definitely, or there definitely are people, characters, groups of people, scenes in the movie where, you know, there is a direct line to like what it could be like today and maybe feels a little more accurate or real. But I think in general there is a bit of maybe a little naivety or like, yeah, I don't know what the word you used was better, John. Like it's an idea. It's ideal, I guess, is what I'm trying to get
I
at.
said
It's
optimistic.
like yeah, exactly. Optimistic is what I'm trying to say. Is that I think he is viewing it in a way that if we could accept something and it be something that we could unite on because we knew we could like feel something about it
Hmm.
Mm.
that was universal or that was consistent and that was relatable, and this might be the thing that could allow us to do that, like the concept that there is something else out there and it's real, and here it is basically,
Suddenly,
you
we're
Mm.
know.
all Earthlings would be the idea. Would be like, oh,
Exactly,
we've been
yes,
equalized. Like in the
yes,
same way
it's
that
like
after 9/11, it was like we're all Americans. It's like if
exactly.
something threatened the whole world.
If something
Yeah.
could unite you, or because I mean, this isn't a spoiler because in the trailer, like in the backdrop of the whole movie, there's this idea of like this World War III about to happen.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Mm.
a comment about in the trailer, and you're seeing some of the broadcasts in the trailer. That's kind of happening in the background of this story about what Josh O'Connor and this group are trying to do. Um, and meanwhile, they're still trying to do what they think they have to do right now at the moment that they're doing it, which happens to be horrible timing, I guess you'd say, because
Yeah.
of people's attention and what's going on in the world. But it's like there's not going to be a perfect time. So the time is when you have an opportunity, and they had an opportunity. And
Mm.
I think that that's kind of what propels the movie. And to your point, the movie does just start and go. It is just one long action sequence, basically, with a couple beats here and there. But like to the point that we walked in, like right when it was starting, and we thought we missed some of the movie. Like it just jumps right into this idea that he's got something and he's on the run.
See, I love
And
that. To me,
it was amazing.
that's
It
what
was awesome.
Spielberg does great. Like,
It
but
was
like
so cool.
the movement. We've talked about how he puts together a sequence.
Oh yeah, and that's so there. It's so great. A lot of these set sequences are just wonderful. The scene in the trailer, like where they're getting caught with the car on the train, is awesome.
Hmm.
Um, there's a couple other really good ones, a couple of awesome oneers, and you mentioned the cast, like the performances are just great. And I couldn't help but feel emotional watching the movie. Like the last 20, 30 minutes, there are some amazing emotional beats that, you know, this isn't a movie about aliens, you know, like it's not a secret. Like that's what the movie's about.
Yeah.
And again, as someone who believes in that stuff and think that's a very real thing, like to see it on screen, what it could possibly look like and feel like, to learn that that's real, it made me very much emotional. Like both of us looked at each other and we're just like cold chill on your arm moments, a couple of them, when you're seeing footage of something or another and certain things are revealed. It's just very effective, and yeah, and affected us both very strongly in the theater. It's not a perfect movie. It's not a perfect movie. It's not his masterpiece, to John's point, but it is so much better than so many things that come out. And the fact that Steven Spielberg is making this kind of movie, like people talk about Scorsese, like with the finesse and gusto and like this is a big movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy and it's gorgeous and it's shot so well. I honestly can't wait to watch it again. And we'll talk about it more, maybe a little more specifically next week once you both have seen it, because I don't want to say too many specific points in it, but that haven't already been shown in the trailers. But I loved it. I really did. I genuinely loved it. And maybe I'm biased because I love Steven Spielberg, but there's just something about his movies, something about the way they look, something about the way they make me feel. And maybe the way they make me feel is kind of what you're saying, John, is like, I think maybe I just react to that optimism in some ways, like, because I feel like maybe in our real life, it's hard to feel that way. But in that movie, it's like, it feels good to watch a movie that feels that way, maybe.
It's good to
And that's
maybe
the experience.
It's good to let yourself feel that. Sometimes,
yeah, exactly.
Even if it's like despite your better judgment and despite your more educated opinion, sometimes it's nice to feel that.
Right. And you're saying, well, yeah, that's not how it would happen in the real world. Probably. You're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to the movies to necessarily feel like I'm living in the real world. I want to feel something. I want to be taken on an experience. I want to project or feel something, that maybe is lacking in the real world. And maybe that is the optimism or the hopefulness or the empathy that this movie wears on its sleeve. And and the last 30 minutes are just, I think just great. I mean, just really, really great. So yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I loved it. I don't know where it ranks among films. Maybe we should do a Spielberg ranking episode one day.
Oh, maybe that gives me a reason to do my project, because I just realized someone made their ranking recently, and I realized that there's 5 Spielberg films I have not seen.
Oh, really? Wow.
And there's 3 others I've seen, but that I can't claim I remember that much about them. I just know that I saw them. So
yeah, I probably, there's a couple that I feel like that about, probably, that I know I've seen, but yeah, didn't really go one, like this doesn't register still.
Yeah, but I was surprised when I realized that it was that many that I hadn't seen. Like, I knew I hadn't seen War Horse.
Wow.
But then I saw this list and I was reminded, oh yeah, I never saw The Terminal either. And oh yeah, I never saw West Side Story. There was but I've not avoided any of them. It's just and I think maybe I've had a weird thing where if I've missed them in the theater, a part of me's been like, well, I'm not going to watch a Spielberg movie for the first time at home, so it's like, because I know that he puts together those kind of sequences that knock you on your ass. By the way, I feel bad. I did not put up my background image during our required viewing segment. So I think for the rest of the show, I should be flanked by my friends Jackie and Daniel.
Blanchflower.
You think she takes his name? There's no chance.
No,
let's hope not. But yeah, I would love to do that one day and maybe go through and pick some of our favorites. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't help thinking, like, during the whole time of the movie, and I was thinking about it even leading up to it. I thought about Scorsese. I thought about him, like, he's like going to be 80 years old this year, and like listening to him talk, like, he looks amazing, and he's so articulate, and he's so clear in his like vision and thought about what he's doing. And I don't know, it's just really special that like a movie like this by Steven Spielberg coming in theaters in 2026. And
right.
I appreciate that very much.
Sorry, good ass school, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to watch it.
I'm super excited.
Well, Ronald, have you watched anything else you want to mention?
No. Not that I could think of.
Not that I can think of.
Not that I could think of.
Nothing I can think of. Well, I'll just say one quick thing. Widow's Bay finished strong. What a great show. What a great season.
Yep.
It's getting some love out there, man. Like, people are falling. I mean, like, I don't know about your feed, but it's like people are talking about Widow's Bay like it's the most important thing on television right now, which maybe it is. It's like hitting this sweet spot between genre where, like, there's a lot of things that call themselves horror comedies. Very few can actually claim to be a good example of both genres. And I think Widow's Bay is actually that. It's a creepy show that's also very funny. And those two things don't like work at odds with each other. Like, it can go for drama and have a moment of pure drama, and it can have a funny moment that feels very earned. It doesn't feel forced. So yeah, I guess we've been talking for weeks about how we love it, but like, I'm so glad that it's finding this weird appreciation. Even the grumpiest grumps I know are watching it and saying like, "Oh, good, and there's another one. Oh, I thought that we only had 8." Or, you know, like, there's people that are and it got renewed for a second season. That, you know, people are happy about that. So that was one thing I would wanted to do a quick mention. Yeah, they announced it.
Okay. Nice.
And they've said they have a plan for a second season, which makes me wonder if there's like a 2-season story. If that is the case, I hope they do that, and then that's what they do. But they didn't say we only have a plan for 2 seasons. They just made it sound like the story they have should go through the next season. But I just want to also mention, having finished all of Spider Noir, I thought that was a really fun show. And I mean, I'm recommending that people watch it. Possibly you should watch it in the black and white, because I do think certain things about the look and feel of it feel more immersive and just like convincing in that mode. But you might want to watch it in color just to see some of the like suits that Lamorne Morris is wearing. There's a little bit more color than you might have thought. But I just think it's really cool that they did this weird show that is Nicolas Cage getting to do a weird performance, getting to do all the stuff he likes to do, especially about halfway into the season. He starts doing this kind of spider movement thing, which is you can see, like, if you were wondering, how did they get him to do this? And then as it goes along, oh yeah, I can see how they got Nicolas Cage to do this. But I just think it's really cool that this is the first time I think we've seen this. A show they've put this much energy and effort into that is essentially like, I mean, outside of like What If, but like that's an alternate universe. That's like basically this whole series takes place, and I don't. It was in the trailer. I don't think it ever popped up in the show. Maybe it's the very beginning of the show where the narration, he says, "Someone asked me what universe I was from," and to this character, he's basically saying, I guess I'm from the only one I've ever known, kind of, is the attitude. And the way the show approaches that, there really isn't any hint of any Spider-Verse stuff. There's occasional moments in the score where they throw in some like synth stuff and some like some kind of dubstep style production that reminds me of some of the music that's in the Spider-Verse movies, but it's real subtle, cool. And it's only barely done. Otherwise, the score I really liked for Spider Noir. It's really lush, and there's some good melodic themes for the characters and stuff. It's just a well realized show for what it is, and I hope it gets to come back for a second season, because it does set up enough stuff with characters that I would like to see again. And really, if you are a Lamorne Morris fan, he gets to do so much fun stuff. And in the final stretch of the season, he has a really good. Really, he has a lot to do in the last couple of episodes, which you might not be expecting for kind of a secondary character on a show like this. But Nicolas Cage is having fun. I know some people have to get over the kind of stylized nature of it, but if you just embrace the fact that Nicolas Cage said he's 70% Humphrey Bogart and 30% Bugs Bunny, then I think it makes perfect sense. And the love this movie or this show shows for classic movies is so... It's so palpable. I feel like that's a huge part of the charm for me, is it really is enjoying, like, adopting the feel and the kind of pace and the kind of characters and lines and stuff that you get in those old movies. So yeah, I just want to say, if people haven't been checking it out, it's on Amazon. Most people have Amazon Prime, I bet. It's very self-contained. You don't have to be a big nerd to appreciate it. And there are some genuine fun moments. There's one moment in particular that I don't want to spoil, but it has to do with his secret identity, and perhaps how poorly he has managed it. That just is a hilarious montage. Yeah. So Spider Noir.
That's it's so interesting here. I completely forgot that it even came out.
Yeah, and it's a binge show. Well, that's part of the problem is that
Yes.
it's 8 episodes that maybe aren't. I would even say this show is
Man.
better if you watch a couple and then a couple and then a couple. Like I don't know if you watch it in a full binge, if it might be, it might feel too scattered or something. But what struck me as is it's like it feels like a real television show because it sets up a lot of little things that it doesn't necessarily wrap up, but it feels
Right.
like it's got the juice to go. You know, it feels like another season could easily happen with these
Oh, it's
characters.
just so weird to hear you talk about it. Like when you talk, like the Widow's Bay stuff has been building over the course of 10 or 8 weeks, not 7 weeks. And like, you know, these movie or these shows like came out similar times. And like, yeah, one drops all at once and just kind of comes and goes. And it's like another reason why, as much as I enjoy binging shows, it's like, it does feel like it just cannibalizes itself when people don't have a chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, to really do what is happening for Widow's Bay, you know, or Maximum Pleasure or Margaret, you know, these shows that come out. It is interesting that too, that like you see these models, some of them where they're not like one episode a week, like they kind of group the episodes that are kind of like
Yeah.
paired that go together really well, like how Widow's Bay did like I think 6 and 7 or 7 and 8 the same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And like that seems very, or even like Cape Fear is airing like week to week, you know, like these shows that aren't just being dumped by specific platforms. But I don't know. Yeah, I definitely still check that out for sure. I mean, it looks super fun. Um, yeah, cool. Thanks for bringing that up. Anything else you got, Ronald? You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, my pick again for next week for required viewing is Wasteman, and it's on Amazon for $3.99 to rent it if you want to. We're back next week with a new episode. Movieshmovie.com is the website you can go to listen to all episodes of the podcast. You can go to youtube.com/movieshmoviepodcast to listen or watch the whole episode, parts of the episode, or an entirely different thing entirely called The Home Cut, where Ronald does some reviews of the Kaleidoscape releases. That's all on the YouTube channel. And if you go there and like what you see, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications. We appreciate it.
And if you're watching those home cuts and you're like, does this guy have a fucking gimbal camera? He just might.
Maybe. Spoiler alert. Teasers. There it is.
Well,
Oh, don't show that. Don't show that. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Especially since this is in a DJI one, man. People are like, what? This is a competition of
It's
instant,
like, who do you know? How'd you get that?
instant 360. Well, why is this not zooming? Oh, there it is.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Pretty
Look
cool. And
at that.
look at
Would you
that.
just look at it? Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back next week with a new episode. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, you made our day. Thanks.
Bye.